It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like
forward.
a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
Hi guys, my name is Lishray Carlsa. I'm an editor for Street Talk.
Hi guys, I'm Adia. I'm currently a student at Stellenbosch University and I'm 25 years old.
Hi guys, my name is Balisa Patlana and I'm a journalism student at Rhodes University.
Hi guys, I'm Danal Marsh and I'm a student at UWC.
Hi guys, my name is Cheslin Marsh and I'm a law student at
So my first question is, I wanted to ask, how does gender-based violence display itself in the community, like during lockdown?
So I think that, since the pandemic, since we went on lockdown, the rates of gender-based violence, the calls that came in through SAPS, according to the newspaper articles, they've increased. So for me, that indicates that gender-based violence is more of like a domestic violence, because if people couldn't go out, that means it's happening. So I think we should also like look at that, because always the first suspect to when someone is murdered or raped, it will always be that person's partner, because they're always the first suspect in any case.
Melissa, what's your take on that?
For me, nothing much has really changed. We're still dealing with the same issues. I think now what makes it so detrimental is that people are stuck with their partners in their households. They're stuck with their abusers and they have no form of escape or outside communication. And as a result, more people are reaching out and seeking help. So I think that's how it's showed its face in this lockdown.
I agree with what both Mo and Palisa said. I do feel like for a lot of South Africans, home isn't the safest space. Like home isn't where you can go and just be at peace. Like for some people, home is where it hurts the most. Like home is the most painful place. So I do feel like lockdown, the reason why gender-based violence has been increasing during lockdown is because people are getting abused in their houses. Like it's immediate. It's not people getting, like, women going out and getting raped, getting killed. It's happening at our safe spaces.
Yes, I agree with that totally, and also because of the fact that like that actually just shows you where like where the problem actually like started. Like although we can match it like okay when lockdown, when it's not lockdown, then there's so many things happen, and it's so quick for us as men to just say yeah, it point fingers and yeah, it's happening outside. It's those people. Now we can't blame people outside because if it starts at the house, then who's the one to blame?
How's the government? How do you think the government is like protecting us citizens, or us as females, to be specific? Because I know when you go to like police stations and stuff, they'll say you should take out a protection order or whatever, and a lot of people are saying like it's just a piece of paper. Something can still happen to me, like I don't have it. That's not enough protection. It's not enough protection. So what do you guys think, like from the government? Do you think the government is doing enough?
I think that the government is definitely not doing enough, because currently there's a femicide happening with the rape capital of the world. Like, what more? And also, for example, the fact that they left the alcohol ban, and then gender-based violence started to increase even more. So that just shows, like, I mean, if they were thinking of women and children, then they should know that alcohol adds to that. Alcohol adds, because now I was the first weekend when alcohol became like unbanned or legal again. People getting drunk, and when you're drunk, that's when gender-based violence increases even more. That just like, how do I put it, fuels the problem even more. Although the problem is existing, it's this, but alcohol increases that. And in terms of the protection order, I mean, we have like So many examples. For example, what happened to Baby Lee, the boxer from East
Mm.
London? Her boyfriend was a policeman. When she went to the police station to get a protection order, the female didn't want to issue the protection order to this guy at work. I mean, if she did that, that could have changed the fate of Baby Lee and her mom.
Yeah.
Maybe if that guy got the protection order and this is a policeman, if the police are doing this to us, then like how are we gonna expect the other males not to do these things?
I feel like the problem needs to be nipped in the bud. Like as soon as someone comes as a police officer, as soon as someone comes to you and they want to get a restraining order or something, like immediately, like the problem should be attacked there. I feel, because now you're gonna wait until the person gets attacked physically or until the person gets sexually abused for something to happen to the perpetrator, if that makes sense. Like I feel like it needs, like, as like when the problem is still small, like when it starts with the little things like verbal abuse or financial abuse, like little things, and then when it gets left, it just turns into this big thing that can't be like reversed.
Facts, but I agree with you on that 100%. Melissa, what is your take on that? What do you think about the government?
My take on it is when you look at our political structure and who forms part of our parliament, it's mainly traditionalist men and black men at that, who've been raised with different values that in a way enable patriarchy to still prevail. And if you can't break that down, which is why even when our president speaks on it, he doesn't speak on it on rather as a matter that should be nipped in the bud and completely cancelled. It's still only a woman's issue, and I think that's where the problem starts, where they actually having this conversation more than females are, and holding themselves accountable for their actions. And until that happens, the government will never truly be doing as much as they should. Um, it'll be the bare minimum for us, and we'll have to keep fighting for ourselves as usual.
Yes, I feel like Sarah, there's so much more you can do. Just to be clear, like to face the situation, the real problem and will take so much work and so much more effort. So I think he's just trying to like manage the situation as a whole, like to start from where it's actually starting, like the mind, the mentality of how our men think in our society, not even in our society, in the world, what type of mindset they're in, like patriarchy, all those toxic masculinities, all those stuff have to be like adhered to and looked into deeply and not just like being touched on as like it is being touched on like recently.
You get some cases where, as a kid, like as a boy, as a kid, when this boy is like still a child, um, they see things in their household or they were brought up a certain way, and then when they grow up, that's all they know. Like that's all they used to. Okay, my dad was beating my mom, so that thing is still in their head. So as young men, they how can I say? They have this thing in their head, so then they just do what they saw because that's all they know. You understand what I'm saying? So do you think that we should also focus on having what's this, organizations where we should, how can I say, train young boys to think, not to think differently, but to do different.
As a kid, boys are taught to be boys and little girls are taught to be, go clean, go cook. Little girls are sexualized, especially girls of color, black girls, we are sexualized from a young age. And that's just not fair. Where boys, they can be no, oh, not the boy's just naughty, let him be. But it's not supposed to be that way. So even with the parenting, starts with how the parents raise their kids. But this is so complex, like I said. If we have to dig deep for you to solve these issues that we're facing in society.
In colored communities, we would have this thing where we would say, if you assist, he will say, "Oh, don't be a morphe," And I feel like it's kind of like offensive to like gay people and stuff like that. So I think it goes back to also what you said about the parenting thing. Like it's how we educate our children, how we educate them on acceptance, especially in that community, because I think we still not. It's not like a norm. Like we're not used to like
Exactly.
It's like but Palisa, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I share the same sentiments as you and Mo. There's only so much that an organization or group of people can do to educate you, but as much as it is a societal problem, it's also very much so an individual issue where you have to change your mindset, you have to change your emotional state, deal with your traumas, and grow and learn from your experiences in a positive manner that contributes to you being a positive person in society. Or else, if you hold on to those things, you start becoming, your past trauma is a subject of your upbringing. So it's really very much so an individual issue, and you need to break it down mentally for yourself before you know other people can influence you to do so. As much as it can influence you to do better, but it's only so much that a society can do, a community can do.
I think there are some organizations, NGOs in Cape Town and stuff that have that sort of thing. Where I know, for example, I forgot which one it was, but I don't know if it's Sonke, Gender Justice, or it's like one of those ones with, or the Triangle Project. It's one of the two, where they were teaching like men about fatherhood and how to be better fathers. So there are people in organizations that are doing things, that are trying, but because I feel like it's such a complex issue, because sometimes if you grow up in a household where there was a lot of abuse, there are two options. Either you're going to become the abuser, or you are going to stray away from it. You're going to like say, I choose not to be that person. And that's obviously the like minority chooses not to do that, but it's easier to just say that, okay, I saw this in my household and I'm going to do it and perpetuate the narrative the whole time. So I think it is important, because it all starts at home. It starts in the mind. It starts yourself, because we can't go out there and stop gender-based violence if we don't start with ourselves and identify what is wrong, why are we doing this in the first place, why are we having this anti-gender-based violence movements.
Even with the majority, like with this meeting itself, the majority of people here are females instead of males. And it's part of the problem that the conversation is not generated among males themselves, and they don't hold themselves accountable and see where they go wrong and how to better each other, because it's only so much so that a woman can tell a man, to do right. But if we're not getting through to them and we're the ones getting abused, maybe your friend can, tell you to do better. And if that conversation can start generating a bit more than women talking on women issues, I mean, we know what's going on. So I think more males should be at the forefront of our fight and start standing up for us as well.
We need to stop normalizing certain things like this rape culture, and then it'll also like improve, or like at least try to bring across a different narrative once we stop normalizing certain things, and men also, we call them out. But like Valisa said, there's only so much that we can do. The men need to like come to the forefront and do better.
My dream is for peace. That's it.
My dream is for a society that allows humans to be human and experience life for itself.
My dream is for women not to go out of the house and fear being the next victim of gender-based violence. I just wish for society where we can love freely and not in fear.
My dream is always to set an example for individuals, for myself, for my kids, to always do better, be better, try to be better, and yeah.
Yeah, Z, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.